refs ruin a fun game between the Charlotte Hornets and Boston Celtics. A good 3 quarters of fun basketball was being played in the first 3 quarters, but the Zebras took over in the 4th quarter. Before I get into the game, I have to talk about the pre-game injury report. Brandon Miller was questionable going into this game. It would play if the pre-game warm-ups went well, but he got downgraded to out right before the game. But at least this means that he should be back soon, maybe tomorrow. Mark Williams, on the other hand, yeah, the guy just isn't coming back for a while. When asked about Mark, Charles Lee said that he's going like step by step. He's engaged and observing practice activities, and he's still in individual workouts. And like Charles Lee was trying to be so cautious when saying this. Like, yeah, the guy just isn't coming back anytime soon. I hate that the Hornets got stuck with Mark Williams from the Mitch Kupchak era. He's a good player, but he's never on the court. Hindsight is 2020, but Duren would have been nice on the Hornets right now. Both of them could have been on the Hornets, but whatever. Could have had Klingon or Edie, but no, like it's just whatever at this point. I just want Mark to get back to know what this team actually is at full strength. Like, I'm tired of waiting on the guy. Now getting into the game. In the first quarter, the score was 40-25 Celtics. LaMelo wasn't good outside of the first few minutes, missing shots and not being able to connect with Nick, which has been a constant theme throughout this season and for Nick's whole career. Like, he just can't catch. I also didn't like the call to take LaMelo and Miles out at similar times in the first quarter when it seemed like for the whole game, either Jason or Jalen was on the court. Like, why sub Miles out so early? Like, the defense was needed. But I'd say that the reason for the lopsided score was because Seth was being mismatch hunted, and it was clear throughout this game that he just didn't belong on the court in this game. Maybe spot minutes, but like he was just an easy post up, take it to the rim on him. Then when this wasn't happening, a lot of offensive rebounds were being given up, which is why I want Mark on the team. And like I went on that Mark Williams rant to start the video, which one guy probably won't change everything. The team like still has to be better, but he could probably get some of those boards. In the second quarter, I like that LaMelo started it off with some inside shots until he got comfortable scoring. Then he made his mark from 3-point distance. Good leadership, good IQ getting to the rim like that. But I wouldn't say that he was the most impactful player in this quarter. The run was cut to 4 points without him, and with guys like T-John, Miles, and Cody hitting threes, and the defense, while not necessarily leading to anything amazing, I noticed that they were more active on that end. Unfortunately, in Hornets fashion, Jordan Walsh, a guy that hadn't hit a 3-pointer this season, sank 2 threes. Like, that's so Hornets, and it's just frustrating because if he didn't make those, well, the butterfly effect can happen, different things can happen, but on paper, the Hornets would be leading if some random guy didn't decide to hit his first threes against the Hornets. But yeah, I was proud of the other guys on the Hornets for stepping up and letting LaMelo rest. In the third quarter, a frustrating thing was when the Hornets got bailed out. Actually, Miles hit the ball out of bounds, but it was called off Cornette. Wrong call, but the refs gave the Celtics time to challenge that call by not giving it to, I think it was Grant Williams quick enough, which led to the challenge, and the Celtics won. Right call, but that's ridiculous how it just seemed like so delayed to give the Celtics a chance to challenge. And from the ref madness, the worst is still yet to come. But for things to note in this quarter, the Miles Bridges self-sabotage happened again, where he just got too many hero ball, ISO ball type moments in this quarter, which led to nothing. And that type of stuff adds up against this team that's going to punish you for making mistakes. Luckily, Trey Mann came to play in this quarter, and the defense was solid. I really liked T-John's defense. The Hornets ended this quarter down more than what they entered with, but I'll take it. That was a productive quarter for sure. But then the fourth quarter came and LaMelo went crazy. Actually, the Hornets even cut it to within one, and LaMelo had a free throw to tie up the game, but he missed. But ever since that moment, the game went downhill for the Hornets. First off, there was some self-sabotage with Charles Lee taking LaMelo out shortly after that for a few ticks for Cody Martin, so that was a mistake. Also, LaMelo picked up 4 fouls in this quarter, fouling him out of the game, and I just didn't like how they always gave up the switch. LaMelo was hunted and he had to guard Jaylen Brown every time down the court, which led to a score or a foul. I don't like LaMelo defending like that anyways, but why is the switch still being given up when LaMelo has 5 fouls? Trey started doubling when LaMelo got his 5th foul, but I didn't like that at all. Just don't give up the switch and let things play out from there. Like, he's the entire offense. So when he fouled out, the Hornets didn't have a chance to win this game. And to make matters worse, the refs were against them. Trey got a tech for arguing a missed clear foul call on him, and it went downhill from there. So many flagrants and techs. Grant got ejected from the game on a flagrant 2. Miles got tossed for spiking the ball into the crowd, which is very inconsistent. Like, throughout the years, I've seen players not get tossed for that exact same thing, but whatever. Whether the calls were deserved or not, the truth is that the refs totally took over the fourth quarter. Like, from the 7-minute mark, every time down the court was a foul where the Celtics got to shoot free throws. They got more in this quarter, 23, than the Hornets got for the entire game, 12. That constant stopping the game and calling the Hornets for ticky-tack stuff ruined the flow of what was a fun game up to that point. Now it's time for player performance grades. LaMelo is going to get an easy A+. He showed up in a very big way versus a tough Boston Celtics defense. Assist to turnover ratio wasn't the best because Nick can't catch, so I wouldn't blame that on him. The only thing that could have lowered his grade was the fouling, picking up 4 fouls in the fourth quarter and fouling out, but nah, the offense outweighs that, and that was Charles Lee's fault for giving up the switch every single time and making LaMelo defend every single time down the court. Like, he just shouldn't be defending like that. Josh Green is going to get an F. He didn't provide much and he missed 2 potentially game-changing free throws. He just didn't impact the game tonight. Miles Bridges is going to get a D. He had a good start, but he had a terrible finish, trying to play too much hero ball. And the worst thing about it is that every time he missed, that almost always led to a Celtics score. The team needs Brandon back. Like, Miles just can't take those shots. Like, he's not a second option this season. He probably could have been, like, if that whole situation didn't happen, because like he lost his athleticism when he came back. So like he probably could have been a second option if everything like went well at the end of that like 2022 year. But like he's just not a second option anymore. He's not that type of guy anymore. And I just wish that Brandon was back. Nick Richards is going to get an F. The offensive rebounds that he gave up were game-changing, plus points were left on the board because of his inability to catch passes. Whenever LaMelo is in comparisons with Trae Young and Tyrese Halliburton, whenever assists are brought up, which I don't really view as the end-all be-all of playmaking, like there's more aspects to playmaking than just assists. Like that stat is so outdated, but whenever that is brought up and whenever it's said that their assist numbers are higher, it's never taken into account that they're actually playing with starting caliber centers, and LaMelo has never played with one in his career. Nick is a backup center, but even if he played a backup role in this game, I don't really know if he would have been good in this game with his limitations. Seth Curry is going to get a D. I appreciated the 3-point shooting that he provided, but he just couldn't guard. Like he just didn't belong on the court in this game. Shouldn't have even been a starter. Cody Martin is going to get an F. He shot terribly. The so-called defense wasn't there for the entire game. It wasn't strong enough to make an impact, and in the fourth quarter, he looked off a wide open LaMelo 3 to take a Grant illegal screen. I never wanted this guy on the team. Trey Man is going to get an A plus. He balled out, especially in the third quarter, and he was able to keep the Hornets in the game at crucial times when LaMelo wasn't in the game. Grant Williams is going to get a D. Like, he made some crucial threes, but he was fouling and he was a turnover machine, which stops his grade from being any higher. Musa Diabate is going to get a C plus. It's hard to be mad at the minutes that he gave tonight. Like, he was solid. With that being said, he's not a rotation guy. T-John is going to get a B. He's still learning, so that's the thing, but he hit some threes and played some solid help side defense, so that was nice to see. Finally, Charles Lee is going to get an F. I usually don't give out coach grades, but this is a game where it's definitely needed. His game management was questionable, especially when he took LaMelo out for Cody Martin in the fourth quarter, when LaMelo was going on a run. Also, he just kept on letting LaMelo defend the Jays and getting fouls. When LaMelo got his fifth foul, Trey started doubling, but no, stop having LaMelo play defense. Guys like Trae Young and Tyrese Halliburton are never even close to guarding the best guys on the other team. It keeps them out of foul trouble and it saves energy for offense. That should be a focus going forward. The Charlotte Hornets play the Boston Celtics again tomorrow or today, depending on when I upload this. Second night of a back-to-back, so I'm not really expecting the best performances from either team. Maybe this game is more of a defensive game. And yeah, hopefully Brandon can come back and be an X factor, be that extra guy that lifts the Hornets to a win. But yeah, that is all for now.